drivers, fairway woods, hybrids, irons, lots of irons, putters. PXG makes a lot of golf equipment based on the latest technology and manufacturing techniques. But these clubs right here, the PXG wedges, I think are some of the most underappreciated clubs that the company makes. And they've brought out some new models. This is the PXG Sugar Daddy III milled wedge, and I'm here to tell you everything you need to know about it. Now, these wedges are different than just about any other wedge you have likely played because of the way that they are manufactured. You see, these are going to be forged from 8620 carbon steel, which is a very soft material. During the forging process, the superheated billet of metal is forged actually 3 times to get the shape that PXG is looking for. However, PXG designers and engineers take things one step farther in order to make sure that the exact specifications that they're looking for are not only created in this wedge, but in every other wedge that PXG has coming off the assembly line, because these wedges are going to be milled. That means that a high-speed computer-controlled bit passes back and forth over the entire head of the golf club, shaving off tiny little pieces of material in very precise little areas, so that the final product, this wedge that you see here, is exactly the way that designers and engineers wanted it to be. When it comes to manufacturing, milling is going to be the most precise manufacturing technique that's out there. Now, in addition to the milling marks that you're going to see across the back of the wedge and on the sole, you're also going to notice that there are 2 hogged out areas, one in the heel and one in the toe here. These hollowed out areas have created about 8 grams of discretionary weight that PXG engineers were able to take from the bottom of the club and reposition more towards the top. And that's going to elevate their center of gravity location. Now, most often when you're making irons and you're making woods, you're looking to try and lower the center of gravity location because that's going to encourage a higher flight and a higher launch angle. Well, these wedges are going to be available from 50 degrees up to 60 degrees. So when you've got that much loft, getting the ball up in the air really isn't a problem. And as a matter of fact, most golfers, especially accomplished golfers, are trying to flight their wedges down. So when they're making full swings, they don't want to send the ball soaring up into the sky any more than they have to. They like to flight it down for better control. By elevating the center of gravity location, according to PXG, you're going to be able to do that much more effectively. PXG has also changed the configuration of the grooves within these wedges, packing them a little bit closer together and also making the grooves themselves wider and shallower. Now, the advantage of going with wider and shallower grooves is it's going to do a little bit better job of trying to get water and debris off of the face, especially in wet conditions. If you're playing in morning dew, if you're getting into wet rough, etc., you want to keep the interaction between the golf ball and the face, specifically the grooves of the face, as clean as possible. And by going with wider grooves, PXG feels it can do that more effectively, and that's going to translate into more spin. And finally, on the back of each of the Sugar Daddy III wedges, you're going to notice that there's an adjustable weight here. Now, that is not designed to be adjusted by consumers. That is something that is there for custom fitters. By going with different weights in the back, the overall swing weight of each one of the wedges can be controlled. It can be made heavier, it can be made lighter, based on the club's length and also based on the personal preferences of each golfer. It's a very unique system that PXG has put into place, and it's something that is basically runs through all of its irons and now the Sugar Daddy III wedges. Now, there are 3 different sole grind configurations for the Sugar Daddy III lineup. There is an S grind, which is a relatively standard straight sole. You also have the C grind here, which I have in my hand. This one is going to have a little bit more of a beveled leading edge, and you will see that there is a ribbon or a C-shaped design that has been ground into this club. It has a fair amount of heel and toe relief, making it a very versatile club for players around the green, both in the sand as well as in the rough. Then we're going to get into the BP grind. Now, BP stands for Bob Parson. He is the founder of PXG Golf, and this club is only going to be available in sand wedges and lob wedges. So we're talking 54 degrees up to 60 degrees. This one is going to have more bounce, about 12 degrees of bounce. It is also going to be a high toe model, and you'll also notice that unlike the S grind and the C grind, which have grooves that are basically going to be configured the way you would with an iron, the BP grind has grooves that go all the way across and completely cover the hitting areas. So in addition to the high toe design, the BP grind also is going to give you more grooves covering a greater portion of this hitting area. It's going to be especially good out of bunkers and out of thick rough. Whenever you would want to open the face of the club, it's going to create more hitting area high in the toe, more grooved hitting area high in the toe than the S grind or the C grind. So I think for a lot of players that struggle around the greens and are looking for more versatility, this is going to be a really confidence-inspiring look in the address position. So having had the opportunity to get fit for these wedges out at Scottsdale National Golf Club a few months ago, and now having had a chance to play them on the golf course, here are my thoughts about the Sugar Daddy 3 wedges. I think that this is probably the most underappreciated and really overlooked aspect of the PXG lineup. I know that the company is known for making irons that have a really soft feel. They make drivers, they make all kinds of clubs. PXG's wedges have been, I think, some of the spinniest wedges on the market, some of the best feeling wedges on the market. And I think there are a lot of great wedges out there. Certainly stuff from Vokey, things from TaylorMade, from Callaway, from Ping. Lots of really good wedges out there on the market. But I wonder if sometimes if people overlook the PXG wedges, which would really be a mistake, because I find them to generate a tremendous amount of spin for me and have a lot of really good feel. When I'm chipping and pitching off of relatively clean lies with the Sugar Daddy 3 wedges, I found them to feel like the ball was sitting on the face for an extended period of time. It was a very soft feel, but it had what I almost consider to be dwell time, more time when the ball is interacting with the face. And whenever I get that feeling on the golf course or in the practice area, I feel like I'm generating more spin, I'm getting better control, and I feel more confidence. I think in the hands of accomplished golfers, these wedges now in 3 different sole grind combinations, again, that straight with the S, the C grind, and the BP grind, I think there's a greater amount of variety that is available in a fitting situation. I think that a really accomplished golfer should probably be able to get a set of these wedges into their bag and feel like they're going to generate a lot of spin. Mid and higher handicap players also, I think, are going to be able to find a combination of the wedges, especially with the BP grind and the sand wedge and the lob wedge, that is going to be confidence inspiring. It's going to make you feel comfortable hitting out of bunkers. It's going to give you a little bit more versatility around the greens. And for somebody who maybe is shooting as a 10 or a 12 or a 15 handicap player, that can be a really fun thing to be able to start to feather some shots around, to hit some higher shots, some lower shots. I think that these wedges, the Sugar Daddy 3s, are perfectly capable of delivering on that. If I have a knock against the Sugar Daddy 3 wedges, it's the fact that the price is about $299 each. Now, this is a milled product. It is forged 3 times, it's milled, it's 8620 carbon steel. I understand why there would be a greater incurred cost, but it's a little bit tough for players to potentially putting down $300 for a wedge, where if you're a serious golfer, you're going to probably go through a sand wedge or a lob wedge, whatever the one that you use the most around the greens. You could easily rip through that in a season, and transferring and taking out 1 or 2 wedges and spending $500 or $600 a season on your wedges gets to be a pricey proposition. That said, I think that you can definitely feel what you're getting for the money. A lot more spin around the greens, versatility with the different sole grind configurations. That elevated center of gravity location helps to create that more piercing, solid feel at the moment of impact. Look, aside from that, I think that these are wedges that definitely a lot more people should be taking into consideration when they're out in the market looking for new wedges. So that's probably just about everything you need to know about the PXG Sugar Daddy 3 lineup of wedges. But if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment area below, and I will try and answer them for you. It would be fantastic if you would like, comment, subscribe. It really helps out my channel. If you have also questions, anything related to PXG's lineup as a whole or wedges, I'm also happy to answer those for you as well. So thanks a lot, and I'll look forward to seeing you again real soon.